I'm your host, Big Daddy.
LB Jenkins.
We're back with you once again talking about the hot topics in sports. Let's jump right in. Levels of concern. I guess you finally get to say it. Is Dallas done?
Dallas done before the season started. This whole regime needs to be knocked off the field. The coach, the quarterback, get them off. Start brand new. Dallas might have to suffer a couple more years before they get back to greatness. Let them go.
I think the only thing you really need to do is get rid of the coach and the quarterback. And the quarterback is a question mark because...
What about the old defense?
The defense is okay.
We got one young dude.
The defense is keeping them in games. That Giant game last week is way worse if the defense isn't making them kick field goals. Look, at the end of the day, it comes down to, is Romo going to make enough plays? And last week, Romo made too many plays for the New York Giants and not enough for the Dallas Cowboys. And my level of concern is, at best, they're going to be 8-8, and somebody going to get fired. So if I'm on a level of 1 to 10, it's a 10. Level of concern. The New York Jets. Is it Tebow time?
Tebow! It's been Tebow time before the season even started. Come on, let's be real. You signed Mark Sanchez to an extension to build his confidence. That man's confidence ain't got no better or nothing at all. Look, Tebow should have been started. Let Tebow out there, try to save your season. 8-8 can get you in the playoffs. Ask the Denver Broncos. Tebow can't save you.
Not in that division. Look, it's Tebow time by default because they have nothing to lose. We know what Mark Sanchez is. He's not the guy. You need to find out, is Tim Tebow your guy, starting quarterback in this league? You traded for him. You paid $4 million in the trade exception to get him. Find out what he is. Don't let him just sit there. It's a total waste. It's Tebow time, but only by default.
My issue with it is, though, too, is y'all say, oh, it's going to be like a 50-50. Tebow done probably ran 10 plays total. And we in what, week 8?
That was a lie.
Look,
Rex lied. Don't say y'all. Rex just flat out lied. Rex claimed he was going to give him 20, 30 plays possibly. It hasn't come to fruition. At this point, you just need to see can he play.
Is that, or at least live up to what you said, 50%.
And can he play? Level of concern for the Arizona Cardinals.
If they pray, they can finish at 8-8. If they pray.
Have you looked at their schedule?
Man, look.
They may have 3 wins on the remainder of their schedule, the way they're playing right now.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, that means Ken Whisenhunt got 8 more weeks in office, don't he? I mean,
you can't blame Ken Whisenhunt for the lack of offensive line. You can't blame Ken Whisenhunt for the lack of talent at the quarterback position.
Who get fired then?
No, Rod Graves is going to be on the hot seat. Now, I like Rod. Rod made some solid moves. But you can't. The offensive line is horrid. And I know Levi Brown got hurt before the season started. But you tried everything possible to get rid of him. They got to look at the offensive line and see what you have at the quarterback position. I don't think they want to start over because Fitzgerald don't want to start over. And they don't want their best player unhappy. But this season may be done.
All right, so Skelton ain't the answer. Cole, uninjured, has started progressing each week. We started seeing something in him. But let's be real, he might be a decent quarterback.
He number 2. He ain't a championship number 1.
Look, so they got that there. All right, yeah, first round, y'all gonna get a top 10 pick. Offensive lineman should be your way.
Offensive lineman in the draft, offensive lineman in free agency. Look, they need to do something. They done. I'm sorry. I don't see them doing what they did last year and bouncing back late and salvaging their season.
The defense can't do it by themselves, and that's what it is right now.
Next up, authentic or bootleg. Are the Denver Broncos authentic?
Yes. Who's their quarterback? I mean, come on now. Peyton Manning, yeah, he struggled. I mean, the man didn't play for a year. The man just had a neck surgery. How many? 3 neck surgeries. Let's get. Each week he's getting better and being.
I'm not. But they're only authentic because of their schedule. They only have one team on the remainder of their schedule that's above 500 right now. Only one. And by the time they play the Ravens may be under 500. The rest of their schedule is weak. Peyton is getting better every week, but more importantly, those receivers are getting to understand him, and that offensive line is protecting him. He's throwing for 300 yards in the sleep right now. That division is winnable. They can win 12 games and get a bye and get a home playoff game. You don't want to see that team at Mile High Stadium in the playoffs. You don't.
And I mean, honestly, I didn't think they were going to do this well.
No.
And they
who thought Peyton would be this good this fast?
And I mean, I honestly thought, even if Peyton came back, I thought maybe with receivers getting used to, I thought it was going to be a bluff year. Right now, you're looking at, a solid playoff team.
And then, I'm not going to lie, the Atlanta game scared me. The first half of the Atlanta game, I'm like, he can't throw a seam route. But he's fixed that, and they've adjusted that. So, no, they're authentic. New York Giants, authentic or bootleg?
Authentic. Look, the team wins. I mean, that's what they do. Now they having some close games.
By a fingertip.
Look,
by a fingertip.
It's a minute.
No, let's deal with that. Okay. The offense is authentic. The defense is bootleg. But I will give him a pass on the last play. What is the safety supposed to do? Dez Bryant goes up in the air. In the old NFL, you blow him up. In this new NFL, you can't touch him. So he's sitting there scared, trying to time when to swat the ball, and he misses the play. That's why that play happens. 5 years ago, that play just doesn't happen.
Dez Bryant had a collarbone.
So, I mean, but the rest of the game, Jason Witten had, 18 catches?
Yeah. Right.
Linebackers want to cover somebody? I mean, that secondary is horrid, and the front four up in the JPP is overrated. So the defense is bootleg. OC show up once a week. Tuck might give you a play or two, but they're not dominant like they used to be. And in order for them to be a Super Bowl contender, that D-line needs to be dominant. Offense authentic, defense bootleg. The Miami Dolphins. Now before you laugh, they 4-3. When we watched Hard Knocks, you probably thought this team was going 2-14. Didn't like nothing Philbin did, but the team is playing. But I agree with you. I can see it in your face. Bootleg.
Look, Tannehill. Now, Tannehill, you're doing a lot better than I thought. You know, as long as you continue to get better the rest of this season and you improve next year, you could be a solid quarterback in the NFL. You're doing much better than I thought. With the receivers that y'all don't have, y'all getting it done. Now, let's be real. All the other wins besides this last week against the Jets, which the Jets lost their dang mind, y'all ain't blew out nobody.
No, but you don't have to blow out people to win. Look, the fact of the matter is, they're young and inexperienced, and the inexperience has cost them already this season in the earlier Jet game, and it's going to continue to cost them. You know, Tannehill's a little banged up. He doesn't have great people to throw to. I expect him to compete. I just don't expect him to get in. So they bootleg because they're not there yet, but they're moving in the right direction. If they can keep this program going the way it's going, in a couple years, that Miami team can be really good. And last but not least, the Detroit Lions.
Bootleg. Look, the defense can't do nothing. Let's be real. You got a line there. Look, if you ain't blitzing everybody, they ain't doing nothing. You got Fairley, you got Sue, and they doing their job, but they can't get to the quarterback every day play.
Look,
and
it ain't
no coverage.
What about the offense? The offensive line is horrible. They don't have a running game. And the quarterback his yards look good, but he's been inconsistent in his throwing. They can't get the ball to Calvin Johnson in the red zone. Burleson's hurt. Everything on this team, last year, things fell together for them. They started off good. They tailed off at the end. They squeaked in the playoffs. This year,
there's film. And the Calvin Johnson, all right, Calvin Johnson going to get an end zone jump over 3 people. Stop that. All right. You got other people dropping. Pettigrew. It was like 2 games ago. He dropped 3 balls. Then against Chicago, he fumbled. There's some things that y'all gotta fix, and one is a running game. Yes, Green Bay made it and went to the Super Bowl with no running game.
Aaron Rodgers.
It's Aaron Rodgers in a receiving corps that is better. Every single one of those guys is good, not just Calvin Johnson. On Detroit, you gotta get better. You gotta get 3-dimensional, and special teams gotta step up. Offense gotta step up. Defense gotta step up. Y'all offensive line, if the offense gets it together and y'all fix the defense, yeah, these are serious contenders every year. But y'all can't let your defense just go every year. Get a corner.
Look, they like the old Minnesota Vikings teams where they spend all the money on offense and they haven't necessarily spent wisely. And it's going to come back to bite them because that defense is bad and the offensive line ain't great. Next up, picks. Don't even ask. You know who won. We continue on the road we've been on all season. Kansas City at San Diego. If Norv loses, I hear he's getting fired.
Delayed and inevitable. I don't care if he wins. Fire the man. him, AJ Smith fired everybody. Trade Phillip Rivers. Look, start over. Y'all another Detroit. Y'all Detroit West. I mean, y'all not Detroit, Dallas West. Blow them up. Start over. Look, they ain't doing it. No, I take Kansas City. You know what? I truly take Kansas City. Man, I put Brady Quinn against this team.
The same stuff you smoke to make you put that jersey on is what you smoking for that pick right there. Look, ain't no way. Kansas City ain't letting the game all year long, and they won't lead tonight. San Diego, Denver at Cincinnati.
Denver.
Ooh, this could get ugly quick. Denver, Baltimore and Cleveland.
Baltimore.
Cleveland.
Look,
Baltimore don't play defense. Bottom line.
They got injuries. They just came off a bye, yo. They just came off a bye. Baltimore.
Cleveland, Arizona at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay, not said. Chicago at Tennessee.
Chicago.
All of a sudden, Tennessee's backpedal. Jake Locker's not getting his job back. Matt Hasselbeck's keeping the job. Won't matter. Chicago. Miami at Indy.
Miami. Really? You know what? Indy's defense. Now they've gotten better.
No. It's Miami because Indy's defense is hurt too. Not is it the starters are hurt. The starters are hurt, and they was bad. And the guys behind them ain't no better. Oh no. Miami. Carolina at Washington.
Washington. Look.
Cam can't lose every game. I'm going with Carolina. Detroit at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Oh. Jacksonville kept Green Bay close. And Detroit's a generic Green Bay at this point.
I'm going with Detroit. Buffalo at Houston. Houston. Yeah. Tampa Bay at Oakland.
Tampa Bay. Look, that defense, Oakland defense just be letting you go. And Tampa Bay
defense ain't good neither. And it's in the black hole. I'm going with Oakland. Minnesota at Seattle. Seattle. Christian Ponder fell off the wagon. Pittsburgh and New York Giants.
New York. It's in New York.
It's in New York, and the Steelers aren't able to stay in a hotel this weekend, so they're flying out from Pittsburgh Sunday morning to play that game. I'm going with the Giants. Dallas at ATL. ATL, that defense been ball hawking all year, and Matt Ryan just don't lose at home.
And Romo, he gonna throw to you some picks. I mean, he just throw them up. They got
Monday night
on him.
Philly at New Orleans.
Philly.
I got Philly.
This a must win. Like
look, New Orleans is giving up more yards in the first 7 games of the season than any team ever. Just wrap your head around that. Ever. Philly. Fantasy. I got Brandon Whedon versus the poor Ravens defense. I got Cam Newton versus the poor Redskins secondary. And look out for Sidney Rice going back to play his old team, the Minnesota Vikings. Should have a big game. Don't forget about your buys. St. Louis, New England, Jets, Frisco. Who you got?
I got Reggie Bush versus Indy defense. Reggie should have a 100+ yard game. Phillies, McShay versus New Orleans. Like he just said, New Orleans defense don't stop nobody. And Seattle or Minnesota defense. Even though Seattle's going to win, it's going to be a low-scoring game.
I agree with that. All right, NBA, quickly. What do you think about the Harden deal?
No.
No for who?
No.
Is it good for Houston? Was it good for OKC?
I don't feel it's good for anybody. Look, Oklahoma City, this man kept you in games. All right, yeah, you got Durant, you got Westwood, but when you got your best players guarding them, besides in Miami, Harden steps up and he wins games. He's the one that brought him back from 0-2 against San Antonio.
All that's true.
Let's do Houston.
But here we go.
This ain't no team to build around.
No.
Don't let the first game fool you. 37 points don't mean crap for the rest of the season.
Here we go. I'm going to tell you why it's a good thing for OKC. One, he wasn't staying. He wanted max money. I understand you want the money. You only get so many contracts. The market says he's a max player. Number two, it's a good deal because Kevin Martin can score. He's not going to play the defense that Harden played. Kevin Martin can score. Jeremy Lamb, a lot of upside. He could be a talented kid. You got him for cheap. And one of those number 1 picks come from Toronto. That's going to be a lottery pick. So you kept the offense that Harden gave you. You got a talented player in Lamb. And you got a lottery pick. I can't be mad at that deal. They might not win a ring this year, but they may have just started the nucleus with Lamb and this lottery pick that can keep them good for a longer period of time. Next up, Mike Brown can't be on the hot seat already after going 0-2, is he?
No, mid-season. He don't like to get. Hold on.
You ain't hearing what I'm hearing.
You got Kobe Bryant. Oh, look. He ain't Phil Jackson. Look, he had some big shoes to fill. He had some big shoes to fill.
He ain't Paul Westwood.
Look,
I mean, look,
you ain't Eric Spoelstra. You couldn't win the finals with LeBron. Look,
man, that ain't fair. That team was LeBron James and a bunch of people from a rec center. That ain't fair.
LeBron James and the Pips.
I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, all he can coach is defense. And the defense is bad.
I mean,
but
you have an all-star
He has
team.
no offensive mind. None. And look, it's earned.
He got Princeton's offensive mind. Look, we grown.
Princeton College don't run the Princeton offense. That's all you need to know. Look, Kobe coming off back screens and stuff, that sound cute. And you know, I want them to have a half-court offense because in the playoffs you need half-court. I just don't think that's it. You got Steve Nash, Kyle Gasol, Dwight Howard. Can we start with just a simple pick and roll and work off that? I mean, this ain't rocket science. You got the most athletic big man in the league, and y'all don't want to run the floor with him. Nobody at his position can keep up with him. I mean, Mike Brown, I think he's just overcomplicating things. If they start off, 3-5, 7-9, he could be gone.
Look, by the 30th game in the season, if y'all ain't over 500,
and look,
if y'all ain't over, y'all need to be 70%, have 70% in the win column. If y'all ain't there, we got problems.
I'm telling you, Brian Shaw waiting. Kobe wanted Brian Shaw in the first place. Brian Shaw is in the wings waiting. That's all we got for you this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, hit us up on Twitter at BigDaddie6.
LB Jenkins at Lightbright J.
Have a good one. Quickest show known to man.